We are just 13 days away from the election, 13 days away from choosing a president. Welcome to the Dray Way. I'm glad you're here. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get started. The first thing we absolutely positively have to talk about, and I know you're saying, well, oh no, here it comes. Sorry, but we got to talk about it. General John Kelly is in the news, and rightfully so. General John Kelly, a 4-star general and former White House chief of staff to Donald Trump, is basically coming out right now and saying he is a danger. He is dangerous. What he says is really what he thinks. He wants to be a fascist dictator. That's what he wants. Be warned of this man. This comes directly from a 4-star general. I mean, this is a man that has served his country for 50 years. And he's putting out the warning sign. And this is a man that has worked with Donald Trump side by side. And Donald Trump has said some extremely alarming things. Like, for example, I wish I had generals like Hitler did. Or you are aware that Adolf Hitler did do some good things. These are the words that have come out of Donald Trump's mouth. These are things that he has said. And here John Kelly, a 50-year servant of the United States, is putting out the warning and saying, beware. We should be scared, very scared of another Donald Trump presidency. And I just want to ask you, I want to know from you, what does that mean when you have not just one, but a number of generals that worked with Donald Trump and have swore their allegiance to this country come out and say he is a danger to the country? I have to ask, how can you vote for somebody that the generals that have been with this man are saying is a danger to the country? How can you do that? How can you just ignore generals who have fought beside and died with other soldiers protecting this country, and you just discount what he says? And it's not just one general. There's a number of them that have come out and said, Donald Trump is dangerous. And I sit back here and I feel like I'm doing a fake show if I don't put this out there, because it's in the news everywhere today. And I feel like I'm doing a disservice. I mean, yeah, there's lots of things we could be talking about right now, but don't you think we need to talk about John Kelly, General John Kelly, who is sounding the alarm, who is saying, be scared, be very scared of a Donald Trump presidency. And I want to know, what does that mean to you? What does that mean to you? I mean, because basically what he's saying is that, Donald Trump is a danger to the country. So if you're voting for him, and I think, and this is a weird thing to transition to, but I think even Spike Lee came out and said, how can you be pro-American and how can you not be considered anti-American if you're voting for this guy? How can that not be seen as being anti-American when he wants to basically tear down everything that makes our country great? We are a democracy. We do things a particular way. And people around the world have always looked at us and been like, wow, the peaceful transfer of power. Wow. This is how United States does things. But not anymore. Not anymore. We had a president lose an election and then basically lie to everybody. Not just for a few weeks or a month or a year. He's still lying about it. He lost the election. He lost. If you can't say he lost the election, you have an issue. Yeah, you're not living in the real world. He lost the election. And we should never put somebody in office that cannot admit to losing. And we should probably, don't you think? I want to know what you guys, I really want to know what you guys think. Don't you think we should listen to what generals are telling us? Don't you think the guy that literally worked side by side with him, and he's now coming out saying he's dangerous. He shouldn't be in charge of anything. You know, he thinks Hitler did some good things, and he didn't. That is no philosophy to have. Donald Trump has beliefs, and he's saying them out loud, and we're being warned. We're being warned by the general that used to work side by side with him. But I want to know what you think. Please tell me in the comments what you think of all this, because this is going to be in the news all day today, and I want to know, does it matter to you? Does it matter when a 4-star general, and not just one of them, but a number of them come out and go, Donald Trump is dangerous. He has no business being in the White House. What does that mean to you? Does that hold any weight? Let me know in the comments. And welcome to the Dray Way. Yes, we are 13 days away. 13 days away, and this is all over. We won't be talking about elections anymore. I know, seems crazy, doesn't it? Stick around, we got more to talk about. Everybody always asks me questions, as a former stockbroker and as someone that's been investing in stocks for decades, I'm a big proponent, especially right now. I'm not looking at real estate as a future investment. I think the best investment right now, and a lot of you are asking me, so I'm going to tell you, I think the best investment right now is in the United States. I think it's in the U.S. stock market. And a lot of you have asked, what 3 stocks do I kind of look at right now? Well, one stock that I look at all the time is Wynn. I look at Wynn because I see them here in Vegas. Wynn Hotels, it does a fantastic job. But I buy Wynn when it gets into the 80s, and it will dip into the 80s. And when it does, I think that's a huge opportunity. The other stock that I like right now is ARM Holdings. I'm a big believer long-term in ARM Holdings. ARM Holdings is something that you're going to hold on for years and years and years. And the other one I would suggest is Longboard Pharmaceuticals. Longboard Pharmaceuticals, what they do is they develop medicines and stuff, neurological medicines, and they use AI to help them do that. They have real good tests going on, and I think the future, again, 5-10 years down the road, is very good for Longboard Pharmaceuticals. But go ahead and look those 3 companies up. Look up ARM Holdings, look up Longboard Pharmaceuticals, and look up the Wynn. And like I said, the Wynn, I think, is a good time to get involved when it's in the 80s. 88, 87, anything in the 80s is a good buy on Wynn. So a lot of people always ask, as far as in how to invest, how do you go about doing it? There's plenty of platforms to get started on. But I want you to understand, investing in the stock market is long term. And I tell people all the time, if you want to have an easier life, if you're in your 20s and 30s, invest as much money into the S&P 500 as you can. If you want to guarantee yourself an easier life in your 50s and 60s, it all depends on how much money you invest in the S&P 500 in your 20s and 30s. That is the best advice I can give you. That is the best advice that you should follow. If you're in your 20s and 30s and you put, I don't care if it's $50 a month, I don't care if it's $100 a month, whatever it is, the more money you put in the S&P 500 index in your 20s and 30s, the easier your life will be in the 50s and 60s. And now I'm 61 years old, and I can tell you that is 1,000% true. Because I invested early, as I've gotten older, those investments, because this is the way I want you to look at it. When you invest $50 today, it's not really $50. And when I say it's not really $50, because you took that $50 and invested it, that $50 right there could be worth 1,000 20 years from now. And I'm not joking. I'm a living example of that. So let me ask you a question. If 20 years from now, every single $50 you put away would be worth $1,000 20 years from now, how many 50s would you put away? Because that's the reality. That's when if you go to buy a $50 pair of sunglasses, 20 years from now, it's still going to be a pair of sunglasses, but it could have been $1,000 20 years from now. You understand what I'm saying? So the more money you are able to put away, the more money you are able to focus on putting in the market, the more benefit you're going to reap when you're 50, 60 years old. I know it sounds like a hard thing to do because when you're in your 20s and 30s, you want to buy this, you want to buy that. But if you have the discipline to do it, I promise you, your life in the 50s and 60s is going to be a piece of cake. If you want more investment ideas, let me know in the comments. We're going to be talking about much, much more about that. If you have some other things you'd like to discuss, just put them in the comments. And thanks for joining the Dray Way. Now let's get back to election data. Oh, it was big in Detroit. It was huge. How big was that? Come on. Eminem steps up and then announces President Obama. And then Obama comes up and starts rapping some lyrics from Eminem. I'm sorry. That's about as good as it gets. I mean, if that didn't make you smile, you're a tough customer. Because, I was smiling through that whole thing. I thought that whole thing was fantastic. And I want you to notice how focused the Harris campaign is. Wisconsin, Michigan. She understands the blue wall. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Because those three states are so imperative to the Harris campaign, she has done a spectacular job at taking advantage of every single person that she can. When you stop and think about it, how nice is it to have Michelle Obama over here, Bill Clinton over here, President Obama over here? You can have any one of those three, any place where you need them, and that's not counting you or Tim Walz. So that is a huge advantage, being able to be at so many different places, at the same time. But as if it can't get better, I think it's about to get better because they are going to have a massive turnout in Houston. Friday, she's going to be in Houston. Oh, can you imagine the number of people that are going to be coming to that rally? I have no idea where they're going to hold this thing. But it better hold a lot of people because people in Houston are going to show up and show out. I can tell you right now. And the beautiful thing about this is it's all about turning not so much the state blue, but turning the Senate race blue. This is all about Colin Allred and beating Ted Cruz because Ted, I hate to break it to you, but you're about to lose your job. Yeah. But that's coming up on Friday. But what's going on with Michigan and Wisconsin? Wisconsin is all about Madison, Milwaukee. And they have been laser focused on those two areas. And I think they're going to absolutely turn up and turn out. And they've already had early voting start. And I think the numbers are going to be very promising for the Harris campaign. And in Michigan, if you haven't seen the lines in Michigan, oh my goodness. But Detroit is by far 3 times larger. I think we've talked about this, is 3 times larger than any other city in Michigan. And they have put resources in there. Having Eminem and Obama step up in Detroit, that is a Detroit victory all the way. big numbers in Detroit equals a win in Michigan. So that is your recap. Harris is going to win Wisconsin. Harris is going to win Michigan. We're 13 days out from the election, and the blue wall is holding. The blue wall is going to take her to the presidency. Now, is she going to win other states? Absolutely. But your biggest concern is, does she get to 270? Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania gets her to 270. And Wisconsin and Michigan are blue in 2024. Let me know what you think. This has been the Dray Way. Thanks for joining me. We have so much more to talk about in the countdown. I know I got off on a tangent earlier, but I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think. Because it's, when you have, I know I'm repeating myself, but when you have a military general, a guy that has swore allegiance to this country for 50 years, and he's working alongside Donald Trump, and he's scared for America. Please tell me that makes a difference to you. It's got to make a difference. If it doesn't, I'm worried about you. I am. But anyway, welcome to the Dray Way. Glad you're here. 13 days away. Tomorrow will just be 12 days. If you haven't checked out some of the other shows, check them out. Thank you for joining the Dray Way. We will see you again tomorrow at the Dray Way. See you later. Bye.